Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Division video. That's right, I am here in LA for E3, and I've just come out of the Xbox media briefing. And oh my gosh, was it good. But that is a topic for another time. The main reason I'm talking to you guys is because a Division trailer dropped during the Xbox press conference. And while this particular one was again only a cinematic trailer, it did still include some very interesting things. And just because it wasn't a gameplay trailer, do not despair, because Ubisoft's press conference is coming up very shortly, so I imagine gameplay will be included in that. Also, what's more, super exciting news, the Division beta has finally been confirmed. There will be a playable beta December this year, coming first to Xbox One. They haven't announced yet whether it will be coming to PlayStation, but for now it was announced that there will be a playable beta this December on Xbox One. So once I have an exact date for that, I will obviously let you guys know, but it does appear that the beta registration page has opened up on their website, so you might want to go and check that one out. But anyway, we're here to take a look at the trailer, so let's start breaking it down. So firstly, as you can see in the background, you've got the usual kind of stuff where it's just panning through, setting the scene, showing you guys some of the environment, showing you obviously kind of like these, I don't really want to say post-apocalyptic because as we know, that's not kind of the actual coined term for the setting, but you know the deal. It's kind of sort of setting the scene, you can see the snow, you can see all the different environments and whatnot, but this is where we start getting into the interesting stuff.
It was a weaponized virus.
So firstly, if I just pause it here for a second, this particular scene isn't necessarily relevant. It's the fact that I want to talk about stuff we've seen so far. Now right now we've seen lots of new environments. As you remember, if you look back at say the 2013 and the 2014 gameplay trailers, we saw some very similar environments and whatnot, but this is clearly a very new setting. So we do know that the Division has a very vast map. So this clearly goes to show some new locations we've never seen before.
One by one, we began to fall.
This one here, for example, where you see what looks like the agents, or at least one of them looks like an agent, inside what I would imagine is some sort of like sports arena, but I was obviously looking extremely cold. Maybe it's like an ice rink or something like that. And it's obviously been turned into either a storage warehouse or potentially some sort of stronghold for maybe one of the factions. Either way, I imagine this will play out in one of the story missions.
People started.
We then move to the next section, and you can clearly see this is a shopping district on fire. You clearly see it's obviously got the Christmas setting because you've got the baubles hanging and all the lights, and we do know that the Division is set during Christmas time. And this obviously again goes to illustrate not only new locations, but also interiors of different locations as well. I mean, obviously it goes without saying we'll be going inside buildings, but it's just nice to kind of get a look at some different scenery.
Started tearing each other apart.
Now this right here, if we pause it for a second, this looks like one of the cleaners. However, there is something very interesting pertaining to the factions, which I'll talk about in a little bit more in the trailer in just a second. But for the time being, if you cast your mind back, you'll remember that the cleaners are one of the enemy factions in the Division.
Until society as we know.
And again, if we pause in the next scene, you get yet another look at them, and this is obviously the flaming background, which I imagine is from the scene we just saw before in the shopping mall. And we do know that the cleaners like to work their way through the environment, burning things in an attempt to try and rid the environment of the virus, or rid kind of the city of the virus, so to speak. So they have a very sort of a ruthless way of dealing with things, but that is the cleaners.
As we knew it, collapsed.
There's an ordinary world.
And again, if we pause here, you get to see them throwing bodies into the flames. Again, this is their way, as mentioned before, of dealing with the virus. If they have anyone that they even slightly suspect is somewhat contaminated, they will burn them with no remorse.
It was a signal.
And then this next scene here. I'm going to stop you here just before the scene itself plays out. Now this right here, you can clearly see a female agent. And while we have seen female agents before in some of the gameplay trailers, they've always been one of your teammates as opposed to someone you're actually playing as. But given that in this scene here, she's the only person you're seeing, it's clearly evident that you will have the freedom to play as either a female or a male. But also, that's not why I paused here. I also paused here because we're about to see a new weapon. This right here is a sticky grenade or a sticky mine or something of that vein. Basically, she fires off this gun, and then sticks on the enemy, and then it explodes. Pretty damn cool.
Normal lives we led.
Then again here, we get another look at a different agent, and I think this is the thing that the trailer is trying to illustrate. I think at this point, we're actually starting to get to see some player variation. We saw a female character there, and then we get to see a black agent now, and a little bit later, you get to see a few more customization options.
We're gone.
Then if we pause at this scene, you get to see another turret. Now we have seen turrets before, however this one here being placed so close to us on the ground does give us a better look at the turret. This is obviously one of the abilities you can have, one of the sort of like gadgets you'll be able to have that you can place down to try and defend you.
We are activated as a last resort.
And then this scene here, I want to pause right here. This is yet another look at another agent. Now again, if you cast your mind back to the 2013 and 2014 gameplay trailers, you'll remember that typically the agent that you play as always tended to have, say, like a recurring theme or a recurring kind of appearance. But in this one, he's clearly got a beard, a much thicker beard, and his face structure looks slightly different. He's kind of got that sort of Max Payne look to him, but anyway, the point is, he is clearly different again. So right now in the trailer, we've already seen 3 distinctly different agents, all of whom are being taken control of in that particular scene, so obviously this goes to illustrate some of the different character customization options. You may remember just before E3 in the community Q&A, we got a quick look at how some of the actual clothing customization works in the new sort of like layered system, but now we start to get to see what some of the actual character customization will look like.
We are the Division.
And then here we see the 3 agents come together, all of whom we've obviously seen in the trailer, but they're obviously now assembling as a team.
We don't know how many of us there are.
Next up, this is pretty interesting. If you remember at the beginning of the trailer, we saw the cleaners. However, we do know that the Division will feature multiple different factions. And this right here, I would imagine, obviously I don't have any confirmation just yet, but I would imagine this is another faction. They look distinctly different to the cleaners. They've got a lot more sort of body armor, but they've also got orange trousers and orange jumpsuits. So it could well indicate that they are maybe, say, prison inmates that broke out and have sort of formed their own like alliance or whatnot. But I think this is definitely a look at a second faction.
Or what it will take to save what remains.
But there is one thing we do know.
And again, you get another look at them here, 3 of them this time, and those orange jumpsuits do really stand out.
There cannot be any hope for tomorrow if we don't fight for today.
Here we get another look at the Seeker Mine, which we have seen before. First time we ever saw this was in the 2013 gameplay trailer. You lay it on the ground and it rolls towards the enemy and then explodes. Also, if you look on the left, it looks like there's another one of those guys, but this time wearing what looks like a bomb disposal suit of armor. And then the trailer just wraps up with an epic sort of combat scene where the agents are obviously fighting off against this new faction, and that is pretty much it. Now, I am aware that I may well have missed a few things. I'm currently doing this from my hotel room, so I haven't got my usual setup, so I will be doing a far more in-depth breakdown once I return from LA next week. But for the time being, that was a quick look at some of the different things in the trailer, and I thought I'd call out some of the things that you may well have missed. Either way, there's a lot of cool stuff in there, and as mentioned, shortly after this video goes up, Ubisoft will have their press conference, and I imagine we'll see a full gameplay demo there. And if they do, then expect another Division video later on the channel. But for the time being, that, my friends, is it. Don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and thank you very much for watching. Take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.